Alright, hey YouTube. Today we're going to be doing the valve lapping for all these valves. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through the process of doing it. But anyway, what valve lapping is doing is you're matching the seat here, or not the seat, the valve surface here to the actual surface here. You're making sure that there's nothing in there that's going to cause this to not seal properly. So get right to it. Tools you'll need some lapping compound. Plenty of companies make it. It's basically just a water-based, some sort of grit in there. But anyway, you'll need that. You'll need one of these valve lapping tools. They're pretty cool. Just all it is a suction cup on a stick. That's all it is. And you have one for the intake side, which is bigger, and then you have one for the exhaust side, which is smaller. So anyway, what you're gonna do is let's see if I can get it to focus here. So you see how that surface, you have this shiny spot right here, the first ridge of the shiny spot. So what you're gonna do is, this one actually doesn't look too bad. I haven't done this one yet, but this is what one looks like once it is done. You can see, so I'm trying to get it to focus here. You can see how it's got that much smoother mating surface there, all the way around. And there is a thickness that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to measure that, and there's a tolerance for it. I don't know what it is on this particular vehicle, but I'm sure there's a spec, and you can replace your valves if you want, or your seats if you want. But I think this will do just fine. It's not like too warped or anything. And it feels good, and it feels like it's gonna seal perfect, so not too worried about it. But let me see, I will show you kind of how to do it. So you just take your valve, and you take, it comes with a brush. I lost the brush, but you just take some, and I probably used too much, but I just kind of run it around all the way so that there's nice even coverage here. And some people do use a drill to do this. You can, it's a little aggressive, and you can, if it's like really bad, you can do that, but not a huge fan. And you don't want to get too much grit on the actual valve stem there, just because you don't want to mess up the guide in there. So all you're doing is, turn this down a little and see if you can hear better. So you're gonna make sure your suction cup sticks real good, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna just spin it while applying even pressure, and then every once in a while you're just gonna pick it up, take the pressure off, and turn it, and you're gonna rotate it back and forth just like that. So you get a nice non-directional wear pattern. You just pick it up, rotate, and you just do that for a little bit. If the valve isn't that bad, you don't have to do this for very long for it to get a good seal. And you can hear the grit going away. Basically, once you lose your grit sound, you just pull it out and take a look. So let's see. Wipe it off here. Cool, that looks good. So you can see after I lapped it, it now has that nice uniform wear pattern all the way around. It's got a little lint on it, but it's not bad. And this is just gonna make it seal good. And hopefully we can get another 250,000 miles out of it like we did out of the original. So there you go, see that wear pattern there? So that's pretty nice. And you're just gonna do that for all of the valves. The exhaust valves are always gonna be worse than the intake valves. Show you one. Because you actually get a bunch of like buildup on the valve. I guess sometimes you can get some buildup on the actual intake valves, but let's see. I can clean this up for you. Yeah, so this one's got a bunch of, it's kind of pitting. It almost looks like pitting. See if it'll focus on that. Sorry. And there we go. So you can see how rough that is. And so we're just going to try to clean that up. So a lot of times if I'm going to use the drill, I'll use it on this, on the exhaust side, just because this buildup takes quite a bit to get off. Takes quite a bit of pressure. So I'll show you how that goes. By hand. I'm not going to use the drill. I'm not a huge fan of that. So we're going to put some valve lapping compound on here. And sometimes when these don't stick real good to this, you could just like get this wet or lick it or whatever you want to do. So just make sure that's pretty oil free. And try to stick it on here. So you can see this one doesn't turn as good as the intake. That's just because the sealing surface is pretty rough. You just go ahead and spin it until it gets to a nice even seat, wherever that is. Sometimes the suction cup doesn't like to stick at all, so you could just grab it from both sides and use your hands. It does the same job. See what progress we made here. So you can see the surface is changing. You can see it's got some shiny spots now. And you're just going to work it until you get that as even as you want to. Obviously the goal is to make it so that it looks like the intake. But that takes quite a long time to get that going, so I'm not going to film the whole thing because that would be probably a 2-hour long video so of me doing the same thing. So that's all you're going to do. You just take it and keep spinning it and just reapply your lapping compound every once in a while as soon as the grit noise goes away and the tone changes. And another thing, you don't want to get too much grit on this, just so you don't mess up the seat where the valve stem rides. And if you want, you can just apply a little WD-40 or something on there, just so it'll slide through the hole a little better, a little easier. And then what you're going to want to do is once you get these all lapped out and it's where you want it, then you're going to disassemble it and you're going to I'm going to pressure wash it again just to get all the valve lapping material out because it is grit and I don't really like the idea of that staying in there. So I'm going to valve lap, and then once I'm done with that, then pressure wash, dry it out again for final clean. Then I'll probably paint it. Well, I'll tape it off, paint it, and then reassemble. And the valve will be done, or the head will be done, ready for reassembly. This next part of the video, I'm going to be talking about honing the cylinders. for the actual engine block. Getting that done today. Getting the tedious stuff done today, and then probably painting it. My wife and kid picked orange for the paint, so I got some, what's it called? I think it's like Hemi orange. Let me go grab it. Show you. I like light colors on engines just because it shows where all your oil leaks are, so you can find stuff and fix stuff before it breaks. I was okay with a light color, and it's Chrysler product, so it's fitting. Check that out. It's getting there. It's getting better. Just takes time. It's getting there. So, and then you just want to make sure you're not going so hard you're damaging the actual valve seat in the head, because once you do that, I mean, there are tools where you could possibly do it yourself to replace that, but that doesn't sound like a whole bunch of fun, and I don't even know if they're replaceable on this. Looks like they are, but I don't want to cross that road, so I'm not going to go too crazy. Just getting these pretty good enough. It was sealing fine when I took it off, so it'll seal even better now, and with nothing crazy happening. So anyway, I'm going to go through them all and get everything lapped in and nice and smooth. Make sure you're keeping all your valves separated. The springs and everything, keepers and little caps don't really matter too much. So you can clean those as much as you want. And just make sure your valves go back to the same cylinders. I know you're lapping them anyway, but it'll be easier to lap in a valve that was already seated there. So cool. Well, thanks for watching. That's another portion of this little project down. I got to do all those. Let's see what else. I got the honing stuff here. I got different some medium medium grit sanding stones here, or not sanding stone, honing stones. This is my hone. This is the one we used a little bit ago on the other Cherokee that actually had damage to the cylinder walls, but you can see we used pretty much the whole stone on that. So we'll be doing that next. Cool. Thanks for watching. All right, so we're gonna do the final honing here. I've already kind of roughed up the cylinders with a coarser honing stone. I find it easier to hone going this direction, right or wrong, that's how I do it. I'm gonna just do a little WD-40 in all the cylinders here, but I'm gonna try to do this one hand because I was trying to record it with a I'm gonna catch everything on here. I'm trying to record it with something so you can see it, but it won't work. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set you here for a second until I get it set up, I guess. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. Just really no good angle to show this. But basically, all you're gonna do, you're gonna make sure your whatever hone you have is properly lubricated. You can use like honing fluid or whatever you want. Realistically, if you had one of the ball hones, that's the real thing. The ball hones are really nice. But you can see, so I just slipped it down into the cylinder like that, and you want to be pretty center, and you're just gonna run it And then once you've hit it for a little bit, you can just pull this out without marring up any of the bearing surfaces. The bearings aren't in, but I don't like to do any damage to the actual surfaces either. But that gives you a nice crosshatch. Turns out really nice. So I will flip it over and show you when it's done, but that's one done, and that's the other one done there. This one was just with the rough, or actually this one wasn't done yet. You can see how shiny that is still. So it still hasn't taken off any of the heat transfer of the old piston. So we're gonna take that all the way down real quick on all these, and then I'll flip it over and you can see what they look like. And this isn't really taking any material. This is just giving the rings a good spot to seat. Sorry, not a good spot, a good surface to seat on. After this, I'll take it out and I'll do one last pressure wash on it to get any of the material left in the journals and everything from all the gaskets that I've taken out. And then after that, dry it off real good, and it'll be ready for paint and cam bearings. Cool. So once I've gone from the bottom out, I'll flip it over and I'll do the top down. So let me get you out of this holder real quick. So you can see nice cross hatching on all of them. And I'll flip it over and you can see what the actual finished project looks like. Product, I mean. See if you'll stay right here. Yikes. Need a cameraman. Sheesh. Alright, back to the holder. Sorry. Is he barking at you? Is he barking at you? Yeah, but
Are they inviting Sammy over to them?
yeah, they can't make it.
What?
They can't make it. I guess if he's tired. What? So there we go. That's the cross hatching here. Like I said, I'm gonna hit it one more time from the top. No, it looks pretty good already. Hey, relax, Howard. And so this is another, instead of just WD-40, this is another thing I like to use is this cutting and grinding oil. So it is much easier to go from the top like this, but you can't really get the bottom of the cylinder very good. So that's why I like to start at the bottom and work my way up. What's up, bud? Why is Diesel barking? There we go. So you just go nice even pressure in a up and down motion like that, just to make sure you get all the cylinders nice and even. So those will feel real good once I clean them up and spray them down, get all the grit off. There you go. There's some good light over here so you can see the cross hatching there, so that's real nice. You don't want it to be too deep of a cross hatch, but you definitely don't want it to be smooth because your rings will never set. When you're breaking this thing in, the rings are going to go up and down on this, and they'll smooth anything out that you can't get with your hands. But that's all you want to do is just rough it up so that no rings are going to stick in any one spot. So, and like I said, this doesn't take any metal off. This is just simply, I guess it takes a little metal off, but nothing measurable by the home mechanic anyway. This piston jug will read the same as it did prior to honing, so not too worried about it. But that's what you're looking for, just that nice cross hatching there. So anyway, there we go. The scary stuff's done. I just got to rebuild that head, pressure wash some stuff, paint, and then we can reassemble. So thanks for watching.